One of my favorite things about watches is the fact that you can customize them. Of course, the easiest way to do so is just to change the strap. However, you could also change the bezel, can change the dial. That's why modding community is so big. Nivada Grenchen did something very clever with this watch by giving you 5 different bezel options right out of the box. So modding the watch and changing the look of it has never been easier. My name is Oleg, that right there is Mr. Bond, and in today's video we will do a full review of this Nivada Grenchen Chronoking chronograph, talk about all the positives and the negatives as I find them. Now let's talk about the case and the dimensions. This watch comes in a 316L stainless steel case. It features a 38mm diameter. It's about 46.5mm from one lug to another. The lug width is 20mm, and this watch is about 13.4mm in case height, including that domed sapphire crystal. And what a pronounced domed sapphire crystal this watch has. It looks straight out of 1970s, but of course in the 70s this would have been acrylic. Now it is sapphire with AR coating. The finishes on the case are great. You have an alteration between satin and high polish finishes. The pump style pushers are executed with high polish, and there's even this accent of red on a pusher at the 2 o'clock position, which makes it look kind of cool and harkens back to those 1970s racing chronographs. There's a crown at the 3 o'clock position. It is not a screw down crown, it's a simple push-pull style crown signed with the Nivada Grenchen logo. And this watch does come with a screw down caseback, helping with the water resistance. So even without the screw down crown, the watch still comes with 100 meters of WR, which is plenty for this type of a timepiece. The star of the show undoubtedly is the sapphire bezel insert. 5 of them to be exact. You get 5 different colors, 5 different options, and changing the bezels has never been easier. You don't even need any tools really. You can just pry it with your fingernails as so, and the bezel comes off. And even without the bezel, the watch kind of looks cool too. It looks almost like a vintage Tag Heuer, or I should say Heuer, which I also enjoy. And again, putting the bezel back in place has also never been easier. No tools necessary, you just simply push it in place. Now, I think Nivada Grenchen is actually using the case for this watch from some of their other watches because the bezel is still a rotating bezel, which is kind of surprising. This is a tachymeter bezel insert, so it doesn't need to be rotating, but here you can rotate it. It's a 120 click unidirectional bezel action. So supposedly in the future, there is a possibility for them to introduce more bezel options, like for instance, a diver style bezel. So you can buy another pack. That's how these bezels look. So you can buy another one of these and have more bezel options. I think that's a very clever idea. As far as the dial on the watch goes, I have the black racing edition. However, there are a few different versions available. You can take a look on Nivada Grenchen's website and choose the one that fits your personal style. I will leave a link to their website in the description below. Now, this watch has been released last year with a slightly different look. I really enjoy this year's version a lot more. I think it looks better, especially with these sort of silver accents on the sub-registers as well as for the hashes on our marks. Last year's version looked pretty cool, but in my opinion, it didn't look nowhere near as good as this year's version. I also really like the chapter ring going around the dial and the highlighted portion with a sort of silver gray color between 1 and 15 seconds. I really like that. I think it kind of, again, makes the watch look very racing chrono. There are 3 sub-registers on the dial. The sub-register at the 6 o'clock position does the running seconds hand. The sub-register at the 9 o'clock position does the 60-minute chronograph countdown. And then you have the 24-hour indicator at the 3 o'clock position. Now note, there is no date aperture on this dial, which I really like. I'm glad that they chose not to put a date window on this dial, otherwise it would look a little bit too cluttered. As it is right now, in my opinion, it's perfect. However, I do know that a lot of people prefer date windows on their dials, so that might be a negative for some. There's also a surprising amount of lume on this dial. Even the logo is lumed, and all 5 bezels are also lumed, which caught me off guard. I actually didn't know that the bezels were lumed, and one day I put the watch beside my nightstand, I turned off the lights, and to my surprise, the whole thing was glowing. So, very cool. There are many different strap and bracelet options available for this model. The one I have in front of us is the black racing strap, which I think works best for this design and for the 1970s inspired racing chrono. I think it just fits together. The quality of the strap is pretty good. It is nicely perforated like a good racing strap should be. As you're driving the car, your wrist gets hot, so you need that ventilation. As far as the hardware goes, it's pretty simple. A tank buckle signed with the Nivada Grenchen logo, as well as a couple of loops to hide access strap. You also get quick release pins, which makes it pretty easy to swap between this racing strap and something else. Maybe you want to put it on a NATO strap. Maybe you bought one of the bracelets. There are quite a few different choices. On my 7¼ inch wrist, I think the watch looks really good. When you hear 38mm diameter, it might sound too small. However, there are a couple of things that make this watch wear larger. Number one, the bezel kind of overhangs the case, which makes it look bigger on the wrist. Secondly, the lug-to-lug distance of 46.5mm is not exactly short. So on the wrist, it has a nice presence. It has a long enough wingspan, if you will. As far as the things that I would improve about this watch, I think it could be slimmer. They're using the case from their mechanical chronograph watches. This one, of course, features a mecha-quartz movement, which is not as thick. So in my opinion, this could have been slightly slimmer, maybe under 12mm or so, then it would wear even better. It's not like it wears too big or too thick. It's just an improvement that could have been made. And speaking of the movement, this one is powered by the Seiko mecha-quartz VK63 movement, which is a very popular movement. It is sort of a hybrid between mechanical and a quartz movement. It is powered by a battery and there is a quartz crystal regulating the watch. So that's the quartz part. However, there's this mechanical module on top of the quartz movement part that has almost like a mechanical feel when you engage the chronograph, and of course it snaps back to 0 like a mechanical chronograph would. Also, it features 4 ticks per second, mimicking a mechanical chronograph movement. I am a big fan of this watch. First of all, I love the design. I love the fact that you get 5 different bezel options. It's really fun. It's not really taking itself too seriously. It is just a cool sort of vintage throwback timepiece. And having a mecha-quartz movement to some people is going to be a negative, but around $610, that's how much this watch costs. You're not really expecting a mechanical chronograph, are you? Maybe a Seagull or something like that could be powering this watch, but I would probably prefer the mecha-quartz movement. It's probably a little bit more long-lasting. As far as the value for money goes, it's kind of hard to estimate, but I think it's fair, around $600 with 5 different bezels and the overall quality on the watch. Could it be a little cheaper? Maybe like $50, maybe not. I don't know. I think they did a really good job with this one. But what do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Do you like this watch? Do you not like it? Are you adding one to your collection? Are you skipping this one? I always enjoy reading your comments. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps out quite a bit. Of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss more videos like this when they do come out in the future. Thanks for watching this one, and we'll see you next time. Bye.